All right, this is the second video that we'll be going through. This is first one is right here, the welcome video, which I think most of you guys have seen already here. So now let's jump to the second piece I want to look at is the syllabus. And let's go through the syllabus real quick here just to make sure we're both of the understanding of where we're at. So this is the course syllabus, the course name, Math 63 C04, and it is the Math 63 class. It's the C04 class, and it's for this fall 2008 term. And the textbook that you will be using is this right here. Now, just real quick here, let's talk about the textbook. It is, you can get a physical textbook in your hand if you like, but when you sign up for the xyzhomework.com account, which I'll explain in a little bit here, that one already has an ebook there. So as soon as you get an ebook, you have pretty much everything you need for the course. You have access to the XYZ homework account as well as the ebook. Now, if you really do need to have a physical textbook in your hand, and again, some students choose to do so, I am also like that. I want to have a physical textbook if I'm going to be working on stuff. Then you can buy a physical textbook from the bookstore, online, or directly from the publisher, whichever you like. All right, so that's kind of like the textbook explanation there, but let's go for it here. So my name is Arkady Hunjiev. My office hours, we will determine that still as soon as I figure out my class load next week. My office number, in case you need to call me, and this one for emergencies. This is pretty much like the day of the midterm and the day of the final. If you need to contact me right then and there, do so. Otherwise, please contact the office number or my email, and that's the best way to contact me. I can get back to you on that here. All right, so how do you get into this class? You hopefully have passed 61 or Math 61 at West Hills College, or you may have passed another elementary algebra class somewhere, or that you have taken a placement test and you enroll in the class here. But pretty much this is the second course of this algebra sequence. Notice there's elementary algebra. There's also something called intermediate algebra. So we're going to be tackling the intermediate part of the class. All right. Course objectives, these 13 things is what I have to teach you. Hopefully learn them by end of semester. I'm not going to go through them line by line because some of these you may or may not know from the previous math class. The student learning outcomes, just real quick here, explain that. These 4 items, this is something that the math instructors got together, and pretty much we say these are the 4 things we have to, or you have to know in order to move on in the class. These are probably the 4 important concepts in the class. During the spring semester, we do have a test on this. It's called the Student Learning Outcome Exam. But since this is the fall semester, there will be no test on these 4 items. All right, let's move on to institutional. So this one, if you kind of think of all the classes that you ever take or ever will take at West Hills College, Coalinga, they should fall under these 7 categories. And so particularly for this class, usually it's critical thinking or problem solving. That's one major thing we're going to hit in the class. Another major thing is quantitative reasoning, how to deal with numbers, both mathematically and scientifically. So kind of between 2 and 3, these are the 2 things that we most often teach in this case. All right, other classes will fill in the gaps for the other 5. So for attendance purposes, since this is not a face-to-face class, I do not know whether you want to stay enrolled in the class or not. So I do need you to email me stating that you would like to stay in the class, and that would be almost like showing up on the first day of class if it was like a face-to-face class. All right, so please email me. Please email me right away. The email was given earlier here stating that you want to stay in the class. That's perfect. Okay. And then the other thing that you want to do by the halfway through the second week or the first full week of class is sign on to the xyzhomework.com site, and I'll explain that a little bit further in different videos that we have that here. All right, and then there's attendance kind of regularly checked throughout the course. So if you do not complete 2 chapter exams, or you skip the midterm entirely, so if I don't hear you and there's no response to figure out how to solve that problem, then I will. It means to drop you, doesn't mean I will. All right, so just want to add this little liner right here. Since it is your responsibility, your academic record is yours, it's on you. Make sure if you want to drop the class, make sure you do drop the class. All right. All right, lectures. Let's go with lectures now. Lectures for the class are on the My Courses site. They're in a sequence of order. They're under the Files menu, which I'll show that as we progress through the other class here. Essentially, they are YouTube videos from my face-to-face class. So you're listening to me lecturing another Math 63 class. You can find them on YouTube as well. Go to YouTube, search for Math 4B, and there'll be like a kind of white M inside a gray circle. Click on that. That'll be my YouTube channel, and then just go to M63 lectures, and there's a whole playlist there, and then you can go from there. All right, online homework. So you will have online homework to do. It is on the xyz.com homework site. All right, they will be on a calendar, and I'll show you that in a different video as well here. All right, but all the online homework will be done on that site. All the chapter exams will be done on that site. The midterm, this one you have to come in person. It is going to be a proctored exam, which means I will be there. You have to bring ID when you come. And it is set for the week of the 15th of October. I'm not sure what exactly date that is, but I'll get that information to you as soon as I can. And so everybody can plan for that. The final exam, again, it is a proctored exam. Again, you have to come in. So you'll have to come in twice during the whole entire semester. And that's going to be the week of the finals week, which is the 10th of December. All right, so now the question begins. What happens if I live out of state? What happens if I live a long ways from Kalinga? And so the policy is that if you live more than 70 miles away from the Kalinga campus, you are eligible to have your exam. You still need to be proctored. You still need to go to a college or university in your local area, and you go to their assessment center, and you get yourself an appointment to have it proctored. Okay, you pretty much have 2 weeks to do this because I don't want you guys to procrastinate doing it last minute, and then everything is up in arms. So make sure that is done. If you live more than 70 miles away from Kalinga, make sure you tell me, and then make sure you find a college or university, and then tell me their contact information. All right, if you live 70 miles or less, then your responsibility is to come to campus for the midterm and the final exams. And then contacting the instructor here. Let's go over that here. Since this is an online class, pretty much effective communication is best. I will answer emails within about 48 hours of receiving them from you. But if you have general questions about the course, please email me. That may be something else somebody else also has. So just to make sure everybody's on the same page, email me, and if I think that warrants for me responding to the whole class, I'll do that as well. Okay, and then also synchronous just means happening at the same time. If you need synchronous help, that's going to be made by the office hours, which I'll send out invites by the first week or so. All right, if you're stuck on a homework question, which will happen quite a bit, hopefully not that much, you have one of two options here. You can message the instructor about the question. This one, if you can use it sparingly, what I really liked for you guys to do is to post the question to the forum. Now what the forum is, pretty much you're sending it to all the different students in the class, and you're saying, hey, help me on this question, or anybody has figured this one out yet. I will also closely monitor those as well, just to make sure questions are being answered as well. All right, the drop date for the class, look on the catalog. It's usually 70% of the class, and then we go from there. So after that, if you are still in the class after 70% of the class has been done, then a letter grade has to be given to you. All right, how do I do this here? It's all weighted scores. So the online homework is going to be worth 100 points by the total end of things. The chapter tests all accumulate to 100 points for the class. The midterm is going to be 100 points, and the final is 100 points. So grand total is just 400 points for the class. I use the regular grade scaling rubric, 90, 80, 70, 60 for that. And then there's one little extra piece over here. This is an additional to the average that you're going to get in the class. You also have to pass the 2 proctored exams with a 70 or higher. And so a little example here, if you score 80%, but Your average is only 65 for the midterm final. You'll get a D instead of a B. All right, so you have to average on the midterm and final exams, the proctored exams. You have to average at least a 70%, and that's pretty much to discourage. What sometimes happens is other people taking the course for you, and you have no clue what the content is all about here. So this is really to prevent other students doing the class for you. All right, conduct just means exactly what it means, is if you do something that's forbidden by school policy, or disruptive to the nature of this online classroom, I can would give you an F or remove you from the class. All right, we do have support services as well. Just kind of take a list of all these support services. If you think you qualify for any one of them, please look at the catalog. The catalog information has all the information for each one of these. Particularly I want to highlight is the Disabled Students Program. If you do have a learning disability, please take the time to see if that could be modified or helped in any which way. And we go from there. All right, and then just a kind of a rough outline of class. Here's your rough outline of the class. So Friday, email instructor, which I've been already receiving emails for that. And then this next week, as I send you the video, I'll teach you how to set up your xyzhomework.com account, as well as finish up chapter 1.4, as well as I thought I had some more, and chapter 2 as well. This should be chapter 2 on here. All right, a few dates that we have to consider. Labor Day, 9/3. There is no school on that day, so nothing should be due that day. Then we have a teacher training. It happens on October 26th. That's a Friday. Again, nothing due on that day either. It is for us training purposes. Veterans Day falls on the 12th this year, and of course Thanksgiving holiday is right over here as well. So those are kind of like the holiday pieces for the semester. All right, so when certain sections are due and everything else, that is going to be on the xyzhomework.com site. And again, I'll give you a different video how to get all that set up. All right, so I wish you the best this semester, and I wish you get set up and get going as we put this all together.